Well, hello there, sports fans. Welcome to this week's episode of Red Ray Welding and Machining. Hadn't got a whole lot going on this week. I got a rack that I made to hang my vise grips and stuff on. Did a little welding on an aluminum trailer for a guy. Had a house fire and a fight. I didn't get the fight on video, but I'll tell you about it in a minute on that. But anyway, cleaned out my bandsaw and just a little piddling around this week. Got a funeral Friday and Saturday for our pastor, and he's a good man. Had a heart attack and died. And another guy in the church is one of the cornerstones in the church. He passed away also. So, and I also had a great friend that from years past that he and I used to bird hunt together and work together. Good fella. Cancer done eat him up. So y'all be praying for people that you don't even know that needs help, got loss in their families, or dealing with cancer or some other tragic illness. But anyway, hang around. Let's see what we got going on for this week. All right, what I'm gonna do is take that square tubing right there and cut it. Then I'm gonna mill a slot in that thing. All right, we got it set up. Just got her in the mill. We'll run it down there to about 7 inches. That'll leave the inch on the back side back here to give you room. Then we'll come back on this front side right here and nip them corners off so you won't have to hit that hole dead on every time. Hey, that looks a little better. All right there, sports fans, this is what we got. I got them all in there. I just did that to kind of see how long this bar needs to be going across here. Then I'm going to tip these back when I put them on there and raise that up and weld them in. That way it'll slide to the back and everything will stay to the back. I probably don't need to, but I'm going to. Why? Because I think it ought to be that way. Yesterday I had to pull off of this. Had a fire alarm I had to go check out. And thank goodness wasn't anything, but we're going to go ahead and get these tacked up. I'm going to tip him just a little bit. Well, make sure everything kind of stays slid down. Very exact number that looks like, don't it? This one I'm going to scoot down this way just a little bit. That way the C-clamp vise grip will have plenty of room to hang. And these here are clear. That looks about right. Well, I think I'll clamp that up there on the column and drill some holes in it and probably run some self-tapping screws in there and see what she looks like. What the old well looked like. Gap on that in there a little bit more than the rest of them, but I believe them things hold up some vise grips. What y'all think? Let's see what she'll do. Alrighty. Alrighty, there you go. We'll get it loaded up and call her good. Well, I was having trouble with the coolant on my bandsaw, and that's the tank. I just got it washed out. This about like normal. I wished I'd have started filming a little earlier. But this is what that thing is full of and stopping it up. It looked kind of like wet paper or wet leather or something. All of that right there was coated the inside of that and my strainer. The strainer was filled up with it down to here and all in that. So right, wrong, or indifferent, I put me a little simple green in a bucket, set my pump in there because it was covered in it, and washed all that off and cycled it through. Now I don't know, I got this thing from Fastenal. That is what they sent. I bought 2 gallons of this to go with it, and this is the last of it that I have. So I don't know if it's this causing the problem or something else. You got to be that, because that's all I'm doing is putting that in there with the water required. So if anybody's got any recommendations on some better bandsaw cutting fluid, drop me a comment in there, because I sure would like to know, because I've been had trouble out of it, not really flowing good and all of that. And every time you turn around, you had to put something in there. It's like it's evaporating real quick or something too. But anyway, help me out there if you can. I'm sure needing some help on this stuff. See if we can get the shop kind of cleaned up. And like I said, I'm gonna try to order some material, start on that sink for Mr. Preston Pittman. And all I did was just cut just a straight little old box joint, what I call it, right there on both of these sides of this thing, so be easier to fit up. Well, all right, well, I mean, it ain't nothing extraordinary on this right here. We just put her uprights on there, put some stretchers across there. We'll get busy making the feet now. See how this here is gonna turn out. All right, so now we got our stretchers and everything across there. So what I did, remember them where we cut them corners out down there? All I did was take them. I will drill a hole in them, and they'll go right back in there. You don't have to worry about cutting something else for that. And I weld that in. I'll weld that nut down right there, and then they can jam it on this back side. Got a nut on the back side they can jam that with, and that way they can level it up whenever they get to where they're going. Thinking about doing something else right there, but I probably won't. Well, alrighty, I couldn't help it. I had to do something, so I just took me a little, let's get that thing in a little better focus. I wish this thing would focus. There it goes. I just took me a washer, welded on that thing, ground it back down. I felt like I had to have something. It had to look like it had something on it. Well, alrighty, that's gonna wrap that there up. So I'm fixing to throw it in the back of the truck and deliver it. I got a fella gonna be here in the morning with an aluminum trailer. Got to do a little aluminum welding, so I finally get to use them new Slickman gloves. Alrighty, got to the shop early this morning. Still a little early. Fella done dropped this tiller off. All that back there done loose. Gonna have to tighten it up. I think it just all it needs is tightening up a little pin right there. I don't see nothing broke on it, but we'll get that fixed. Well, all right, that's Ford fans. I've been telling you I'm gonna give me something else I can weld with, try to do a little better welding with. So I got me a GoPro and all this stuff right here. I ain't got a clue how to use all of this. But my main man, the yacht done showed up. We doing an education this morning.
Look, I picked it up, and the first thing I did was what, Red?
He dropped it.
I dropped it right on the floor. Well, once we got past that, we get it figured out a little bit.
That's right. We gaining on it now. We'll see what we can come up with. Well, good morning. You know, a lot of times I read out the Bible and stuff and read stories about that, try to, you know, show you some things that a lot of people say not true, but is. I want to tell you some things that I know for a fact from my heart that come from God. I was on the road. I left here back in the 90s, went to Little Rock, worked at a plant out there, and it closed. Went to Chattanooga, worked at a plant there, got laid off there, so I went on the road on my tools. By that time, we had done moved all the way to Georgia. Little town called Tunnel Hill, nice little old town there. But anyway, we was ready to come home. I was on the road up in Owensboro, Kentucky, where I kept my travel trailer most of the time, working boiler outages, and was ready to come home. We kept praying, well, you know, to come home. And so me and my wife talked about it one day and decided, well, okay, we're gonna put the house up for sale just to test it. Lady come, brought the sign to put it up in the yard, brought a fella with her. Next day he came back. The next day he came back. And she called me that night and said, look here, said, they done made us an offer. And the offer, of course, you know, it's gonna be low, but we'd done already discussed what we wanted out of it. So we made a price, a counter offer. They came back and offered what we was wanting for the house. So, okay, that was all good, you know, because we've been praying about it and getting ready to come home and everything. So, but here's the thing about it. When it came down to it, I told them, I says, now, leave it. I told my wife, tell them, now, look, we're not going to move until the kids get out of school, because I had moved them one time in the middle of the school year, and I hated that with all my heart, but I didn't have any choice. We had to do that. And I didn't want to uproot them in the middle of another school year. And just so happens that the guy that was buying the house was marrying a school teacher, and they was gonna get married when school was out, and that's when they was gonna need the house. So God had everything laid out for us. You know, we'd been praying to him, and this is what we wanted to do. So he made the way work out for us. So, I mean, you can say, well, yeah, it just worked out that way. Well, yeah, it did just work out that way. Why? Because God was in the middle of it, and God set that plan for us. It's through God the reason we was able to come back home just like we wanted to and like we had prayed to, because you pray to him, and he'll give you the prayers of your heart. Well, all right, here we go, sports fans. I got this thing set up in here. Went on, got it picked up and got a jack stand under. Gonna take the wheel off of it, see if we can get this fender semi straightened up. It's kind of pooched up right there. This door hits the light. Got a crack right there, and a crack right there, and a crack right there. We're gonna see if we can get him fixed up today. All right, we got the wheel and everything off of it. Started doing a little work on it. I got this, one of the issues was this door was hitting that light, so we got that where it's cleared. There you go. Clearing that, so we got one issue took care of. We're gonna see if we can get that there done. Got me a GoPro. I'm gonna try to do a little filming with it and I'm gonna do something with the camera too, because I don't know how this gonna turn out. This old fender's dirty now. I ain't gonna be able to do much with it. These doggone Slickman gloves is fine, I'm gonna tell you that right now. I turn up a little more heat. That big weld and all that right there sucking a lot of the heat out of that thin thing. It's gonna be hard trying to weld on that thin stuff to that thick stuff. Well, alrighty, there's that. Got that welded up. Got welded across those spots where they were broke. Tried to weld that on that inside and that little thin plate. Every time I hit it with a little bit of heat, it'd run away from me. I got in that middle bend right there and put me a sledgehammer and let it lay over against it to hold some pressure on it, but it didn't matter. Right beside it, it was gonna push it out. So that's why they took a squirt gun and just bumped it all down through there, and that's why it didn't hold. But anyway, well, we got her patched back up. We'll get her down and get this done tomorrow. I'm planning on our preacher, bless his heart, y'all keep him and his family in your prayers. He had a heart attack the other day and died, or yesterday, so y'all would say a prayer for his family for comforting. I know yesterday he heard the words that, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." There ain't no doubt about that. He was a good man. But anyway, tomorrow I got to go to the church and change out some doorknobs and put a wax ring in one of the bathrooms in there. So we'll get that done tomorrow. The other night we got toned out to go to assist another unit with a house fire. When we got there, of course, they got a brand new pumper and I had a secondary one that's on the edge of the city limits. City responded to, great bunch of guys. You need help in your edge, them son guns ain't got no problem traveling to come help you. But anyway, we pulled around in on the north side. Road runs north and south. We came in from the north, pulled up there, and they told, hollered and said they needed us to come in from the south end. So I sent the other guy with the truck on around to the south end. I got out so I could start assisting them. Doggone if I didn't walk up in there and they had a knuckle buster going on. It was the man and the woman, they was into it. He claimed that she had done started the house fire or something. I ain't sure what all it was about. There's a lot of hollering and screaming and stuff, but I know one thing. This according to what another fella said, the boy body slammed the old gal. And I don't know. I did look around. I keyed the mic, try to get the sheriff's department down there to get that broke up because we had other things to deal with. And I looked over, I seen her on the ground. Next thing I know, son, she got her wheels up on her. She come after him. I said, I think, Hoss, you better change your game plan because you ain't phased that in there yet. But anyway, they had them a pretty good little old tussle there before they got all that there separated. But anyway, here's a little bit on the fire and stuff. I don't know what started it and what caused it or anything, but we got in there, kind of got her knocked down for the most part. It was raining that night. It was a bad night to be out. Well, any night's a bad night to be out fighting house fire. But anyway, we got her kind of put down, knocked out, and everything. There's one thing I do want to say. The people next door, this house is totally gone. The four walls is all it was standing. Everything on the inside was burnt out. The roof was burnt off of it and everything. City rolled up and they headed on back in. The unit that was there, they started rolling up air hoses and everything, putting everything back up so they could back in and pull a booster reel and just catch hot spots off the booster reel. Folks next door was hollering, why they rolling up? I still see fire. They rolling up. They've been rolling up for 15 minutes. I'm gonna say this. You got a problem with the way the people out there fighting the fire, get your butt out there and help them. You go out there and drag hose in the middle of the night and you pull on that, you climb a ladder and go to fighting that fire with that hose pushing out about 150 PSI, and you up there on that ladder trying to fight that fire and taking a pike pole and knocking down out windows and pulling wall sections down to where you can get into another section and all of that. Before you go fussing about what you think somebody else ought to do, you need to get your fat happy butt over. I didn't say fat happy. I don't know if your butt fat or not. Whether it is or not, you need to get your hand in over there and get started. Don't stand over there on the sideline and go to hooping and hollering about what you think they ought to do, because start off with, you ain't trained to do it. Second thing is, don't nobody care what you think about it. Let's move on. Let's see how this, take a quick look at this house fire here anyway. All right, sports fans, here we are. Volunteer fire, we out here putting this fire out at this house right here. Got toned out a little after, or right about 10 o'clock, but got units everywhere. Got city fire, 3 county units out here. Everybody working together to try to save what we can. Well, all right, sports fans, that's about gonna wrap this week up. Had to go to the dentist one day and got funerals tomorrow. Got our pastor passed away, and another great man in the church also passed away this week. So we're gonna be having funerals and visitations and all for that tomorrow and Saturday and stuff. So I'm probably ain't gonna get into a whole lot between now and then. So, but anyway, that's gonna wrap up this week's episode. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all be careful, stay safe, go to church on Sunday. See you later.